Tomorrow marks the 60th anniversary of the end of the Korean War. In San Francisco, veterans will dedicate a new Korean War memorial. It's now under construction in the Presidio. Speakers will include former Congressman Pete McCloskey, who won both the Navy Cross and Silver Star for Valor in Korea, along with 2 Purple Hearts. 60 years later, he's still troubled that Korea remains divided.
But it's one country. It isn't 2 people. It's one people. And they were divided by mistake. I mean, it was probably the dumbest mistake ever made was to draw the 38th parallel, invite the Russians to come down to the north half, and the U.S. occupied the south half. But they're one people. They're not 2 people.
Veterans will gather at the Presidio tomorrow morning at 10 to mark the signing of the armistice, and they're looking for contributions to help complete the construction. If you can help out, there's a link on our website at abc7news.com.
60 years ago today, the United Nations and North Korea signed an armistice suspending the Korean War. Today, ground was broken for a future Korean War memorial at the Presidio in San Francisco. The ceremony was attended by several veterans of the war. One told us he's proud of what his service accomplished.
What the UN forces did, and primarily the Americans, saved a democracy that is just so thriving today. And if we could have their subway system here in San Francisco, it'd be great.
The Korean War was an undeclared fight that lasted from 1950 to 1953. 33,000 American soldiers died and 100,000 were wounded. It is often called the Forgotten War.
It has been 60 years since the end of the Korean War, and today veterans join local leaders in San Francisco at the site of a future memorial for the tens of thousands of U.S. troops killed. A sign was unveiled this morning to dedicate the land in the Presidio where the memorial will stand. When finished, it will include 8-foot-high stone walls and benches for rest and reflection.
It'll have 5 panels. One will trace the history of Korea, one will trace the battles, but the primary motif will be a landing craft that landed at Incheon with a ladder going up to Womido Island.
Organizers hope the memorial will be finished by the summer of 2015, but they say donations are still needed.
President Obama today marked the 60th anniversary of the end of fighting in the Korean War by laying a wreath at the Korean War Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. Sometimes called the Forgotten War, Mr. Obama said, quote, "Here in America, no war should ever be forgotten and no veteran should ever be overlooked." Hundreds came together in San Francisco today to commemorate the anniversary and dedicate a new planned Korean War memorial. Korean War veterans and their relatives were honored this morning at the Presidio. One of the organizers of today's ceremony is former Bay Area Congressman Pete McCloskey. McCloskey is a Korean War vet who became emotional recalling his battlefield experience and what he's learned from it.
Everybody that fought over there has a privilege. It's a privilege when you're shot at and get scared when you're young, and you don't want your kids or your grandkids to fight.
Our foundation board.
The new Korean War memorial at the Presidio is set to be completed by the summer of 2015.